this is about take 4, but I might actually be organised enough now. Welcome to episode 2 of the Kristel Knits podcast. As the name implies, I am Kristel, I knit, then I come on here and I record myself talking about it. It's just a small space on the internet for a big love of knitting and hand-dyed yarn, as my stash will attest to that love. You can find me on Instagram as kristel.knits. I'm also on Ravelry if you're able to use that platform. That is still under Books, Hooks and Yarn because I haven't even bothered trying to figure out if I can change my name on there, so that's a future Kristel problem. Where else am I? I think that's it. I don't have like a website or anything like that. I'm not that fancy. What I do have now that I didn't have in the first 2 takes is a hot cup of coffee, clean shelves, cleanish shelves, heel balm cream, cool, just pretend that didn't happen, and some time to chat with you guys about what I've been up to since Christmas Eve, I think, was my last Vlogmas episode. I didn't do one on Christmas Day because honestly it was just such a nice, quiet, calm Christmas day with my family and I really enjoyed that. So I didn't record much. I think I recorded myself opening my Christmas Day advent packages, and then I don't even remember if I uploaded it, to be honest, because after that nice calm Christmas day started all the craziness of Christmas where we have to see family and everything. So, and since that, I think I've had about 5 days in total, maybe 6, of relaxation. So yeah, by the time the craziness of Christmas and New Year's is over, I think I had a week before I started going, I need to prep for school starting. Because those of you that are new, I'm a primary school teacher. I am teaching grade 2 this year, one of my favourite grades. And I was starting my own classroom from scratch this year. I've never started a classroom before. I've always come in midway. So yeah, that was an interesting experience. It's a lot of work. And a lot of work that you don't get paid for. So yeah, bye-bye knitting, hello laminating. And since then it's basically been just a hurricane and whirlwind of work and prep and laminating still. Photocopying, printing, although I'm starting to slow down on that. I'm starting to use less worksheets because you do use a lot in the beginning when you're getting things established. But my students have already understood that I like to use less paper and less worksheets, and they're already starting to give me a bit of grief when I do use the occasional worksheet. Anyway, in those 5 or 6 days that I had to relax, I managed to finish a few things actually, and first and foremost is my shawlography. I can see you through the loops here, so I can see what it is I'm actually showing you. She ended up bigger than I thought. It was so much smaller when it was on my needles, and I was a bit worried that I should have gone up another needle size, but she ended up beautiful and big. I prepped my hair for work tomorrow, so it's a bit too wild and curly at the moment, but I'm hoping by tomorrow it'll be a bit flatter. But we'll see if we can get this on with all the hair in the way. I'm getting it cut next weekend and I cannot wait. Alright, let's see. Oh, there's just so many different ways you could wear it as well. So this is just all bunched up around my neck. It's one way. I have not had weather cold enough to wear this yet. I cannot wait for winter. But then I keep thinking to myself, the only places I go are work. And is this too nice to wear to work? And then I think, well, I didn't make it so it could be a decoration. I made it so I could wear it. Look at that. Look at all those beautiful elements you can see. Got the brioche. I love that that's like front, not brioche, sorry, the wedges. That's front and center. But the brioche is down here, nice and visible. The triangles are a little bit hidden, but I guess it depends on how you want to wear it. Everything just kind of, I could pull it all out, have it all showing depending on what I want the focus to be, I guess. You could also just, that was so nice and snuggly, by the way. That was just delicious. You could also just have it as a wrap. Excuse me, coffee, I don't want to accidentally dunk ends in you. It is beautiful enough to have, oh, that did not go very smoothly. Let's see if I can do this. I did this once right after I managed to block it, and I haven't tried to do it again. So let's see. It might not work while I'm on camera, because why would it want to? Could have it, oh, you might need to use a shawl pin, but I did manage to get it to stay while I was wandering around the house showing it off to my family. Could just have it wrapped around. I swear there's an easy way to do this, and I did it and now I can't think of what it was. So I might just have to do a little Google or Instagram search for how to wear your shawlography. So about the pattern, although, I mean, I took so long in getting this done. People have probably already forgotten about it, so here's a good reminder. This was the 2021 Mystery Knit-Along by Stephen West. The pattern is called Shawlography. You can now purchase the whole pattern in its entirety as one document. And yeah, I followed the pattern to the letter. I know there was a lot of umming and ahhing about the border. I loved the border. I found it to be very relaxing to knit, and I loved seeing the way my colours got to play out with each other. I just enjoyed it. But I can understand how some people, after knitting all these fabulous elements, got to the border and went, boring. But I was the opposite. I was like, after all these standout elements, it needed something a bit more sedate to finish with, as opposed to ending crazy with crazy. Not that it's not beautiful, like the whole thing is stunning, but yeah, there's a lot going on. So we have this little wedge, which we started. This is, I dyed this. Deja Vu. It's just a beautiful purple dyed on the Nunderwaller Mills sock base. And then we start with the wedges, which has all of our colours in it. The blue is Night Sky by 3 Cats Yarn. Previously, you would have known this dye as Down Under Dyer, but she has rebranded, Mill has rebranded, and she is now 3 Cats Yarn, which suits her very well. So that's the blue. As I go through the elements, I'll tell you all the different colours, because, you know, it might be a bit of a struggle for me to point them out in the wedges, but all of my 5 colours are in there. I've already told you the purple. This speckled white, which is also used in these wedges and in the border, that's a good representation of it actually, is Delicate by Maximo Yarns. Maximo Yarns is a local to me dyer. I see him at the occasional market and stuff, especially the little beauty market in Frankston. And his mum Julie runs Little Woolly Makes in Hastings. So I've done that one, the pink, which is here in the triangles. My marshmallows, technically they're baubles in the pattern, but my daughters call them marshmallows. And in my border, oh, and in my wedges, on the here, is Shell by Dragonfly Yarn. Melody does some beautiful colourways. And then the only one I have left is the grey. Oh, this is one of my favourite ones actually. It was probably the most tonal of the yarns. All the others had a lot of depth and a bit of variation to them, but the grey was just the perfect grounding colour, I think. And I'm a bit of a fan of grey, so it could do no wrong in my eyes anyway. So this grey here, so it's there, it's the actual not yarn overs, like, is it yarn overs? No, it was slip stitches. There, it's my triangles with the blue. It's my crisscrosses and in my border, and that was fog bound by dyed by hand yarns. I always go to say hand dyed by yarns. No, it's dyed by hand yarns. That was one of my Bendigo Wool and Mills purchases, I do believe. No, like the Bendigo Sheep and Wool Show purchases. Bendigo Wool and Mills, my god. So yeah, that is it. Instead of trying to remember all those, I literally could have read my notes because that's what they're here for. But that would involve putting my glasses on, and I have a light in here to help with the light, and I would have had reflections. And all right, let's see. I can tell you my leftover bits. All right, so of the grey, the fog bound, that was the one I had the most left over for. I still had 49 grams of the grey left, 28 of the delicate, no, of this one, 40 of the shell, 40 of the Deja Vu, and 24 of the Night Sky. But Mel from Three Cats Yarn did warn me that would happen because there was less meterage to her Night Sky on the base that it was on than my other skeins, so that's fine. But it's absolutely stunning, and I just can't wait to wear it. I'm a jeans and t-shirt kind of girl. Literally today I'm wearing, it's just a Kmart jumper. I've got a t-shirt underneath and a pair of jeans. I wear jeans on Fridays for work. And I literally just think I'm going to be wearing this with, yep, a t-shirt and jeans in autumn on those slightly cooler days where it's not cool enough for a jumper because my neck gets cold. So yeah, once again, Shawlography by Stephen West. And I already have plans in another one for my mum in varying shades of red because those are her favourite colours. Excuse me. Alright, so that's one finished object and it's already been 12 minutes. It was worth the time to knit and it's worth the time to talk about. Just on a side note, my favourite part to knit was probably the bobbles. We have actual bobbles there. Sorry, so they weren't bobbles. They were called, oh, something weird and random. What was the word for it? And I read the word and went, that doesn't sound quite right to describe these delicious little squishy bits. They were called, drawing a total blank. Cannot remember, but that's okay. They were called something else. And I called them marshmallows. These are the bobbles. I loved knitting bobbles. Found them really easy. And I loved doing the crisscrosses, like watching the stitch like unravel after you dropped it was very cool. My least favorite part was probably, and I'll probably omit it when I knit it for my mum, the I-cord loops. Interesting design choice. Not sure they serve much of a purpose. I think for my mum's it's probably just going to be the only strip of like solid colour there. So yeah, if I was to do it in these colours again, I would do the triangles with the slip stitches and then that would have just been a solid chunk of the blue, I think, rather than the loops, because yeah, pain to knit and I can just see lots of stuff getting caught in there. So yeah, other than that, absolute dream to knit. The instructions were very clear, the step-by-step videos were amazing, and a lot of it was easy to memorize once you got going. There wasn't a lot that I had to stop and look at the pattern every single bit. Once you got going, it kind of flew in a natural rhythm. It made sense, which I loved. Wish all knitting patterns did that. Alright, what else have I finished? I have also finished the Changing Staircases shawl for my husband's Nana. So this is by Dragon Horde Yarn. The pattern is, sorry, it's called Changing Staircases. It's based on that quote from Harry Potter that says, be careful of the staircases, they change. So yeah, it's Changing Staircases, and it's just a one skein fingering weight shawl pattern. This beautiful sort of scalloped edge. If you manage to block it properly. And all these beautiful not slip stitches, yarn over details, which are just stunning. The yarn I did it in is Suki's Blueberry Cheesecake from Stitchcraft and Wizardry. I'm a Gilmore Girls fan. Well, I'm less of a Gilmore Girls fan every time I watch it. Suki will always be a favourite though, because she's amazing. So yeah, I love it. I'm hoping she will too. I sized up to 4.5mm needles. I'm not sure what size they were supposed to be for the pattern. Just had a slight interruption, sorry about that there. I couldn't remember what needle size the pattern was supposed to be. I suppose you could always just go look at the pattern. But yes, I did 4.5mm because I know that I am a tight knitter. And looking at this, the fabric is beautiful and drapey. It's not too holey, but I don't know. I reckon it's good size. I am a little bit worried it might be too small for his knitter. But I mean, it's the thought that counts, right? She's completely knit worthy. She doesn't have all this hair to get in her way either, so that'll be a bonus, I guess. It's just something little to put over the top of her. She loves purple, her outfits and stuff, so yeah. It's been sitting up on my yarn display board above my knitting desk since I finished it. We sad for it to be gone, but she will get that next weekend when we see her for Brad's birthday. So yes, that was my second finished object, and my third one was from a knit along from last year as well. Mel of 3 Cats Yarn did a cat along last year, and I picked like 4 patterns because I was overly ambitious, but that seems to happen a lot with me with my crafting. So I didn't get any of them finished for the cat along. It's fine. I'm still making a pair of kitty socks. I will get to them eventually. Jasmine actually got to the yarn the other day, so I need to untangle it first before I can even think about trying to finish it. What I did finish was the kitty brioche hat by Suzanne Summers. So you can see how beautiful and delightfully squishy that is. The brim's a little bit fuzzier because you hold the yarns a certain way to make this part fuzzy, and then the rest of it, all the fuzziness is on the inside. So I'll pop it on. Hopefully it fits over what's going on today. And once it's on, you can see those ears pop up. This is going to be the best hat for yard duty. Oh, in winter. I can't wait. Look at that. It's so cute. It was a really enjoyable knit. I don't know why I ever put it down, to be honest. I could have had it finished with the cut along because it was really good to knit. Really straightforward, considering it's a DK and a mohair held together, and you do the DK for one round and both of them held together for the other. So that was, yeah, really cool. I liked that feature. I was a little bit worried when I was making it that it wasn't going to fit because it seemed really small, but my gosh, does brioche grow. It's just delightful. And it also, because of the squishiness of it, it also fits I have a 7-year-old now. It also fits my 7-year-old. I haven't tried it on my 4-year-old, but I reckon it would fit. Oh my gosh, this is making me so happy. I haven't worn it much since making it because I finished it in mid-January. So yeah. The yarns. It is 2 yarns held together. I just mentioned that. The mohair is called Ariel by Obsession Yarns, and I only used 17 grams of it. No, or did I have 17 grams left over? I am not sure. I think I only used 17 grams of it. It wasn't much. I remember that. I've got like so much of the skein left. And the actual multicolored one, which I can show you a better, this is what it looks like, is Awkward Family Photo by Red Riding Hood Yarns, who doesn't die anymore. And I used 96 grams of that, I think, or I had 96 grams left over. I would have to check, I'm not sure. I did use the recommended 4mm needles for it. In retrospect, I would probably go up a size just to make it that little bit bigger, because it is a little bit tight here at the cast on. And first time ever I did a 3-needle bind off, and it was delicious. I absolutely loved it. It was such a nice bind off. I've never done one like that before, and it was just so divine. Yeah, that's it. That's my finished objects. So now we are up to all the bits and bobs of what I've been working on, because it's been very eclectic. We are about to start week 4 of the term tomorrow, and I have done maybe 4 hours of knitting, and that was all yesterday, because there's just no time. It's insane how busy I am. And I knew I would be busy. I just didn't expect it to impact my knitting time that much. Makes me sad. Alright, my light is going flat, so I'm just going to ditch that. I really need to charge it. I think I mentioned that last time, but that means I can pop my glasses on and not have to worry about reflections, so I can see what's going on. I'm going to keep this on because it's cute, and it's keeping me warm, and it's cute, and it's cute. I love it, and it's keeping the hair a bit under control, which is fantastic. All right, what am I working on? So if you've been on my Instagram lately, which is, I can't even remember if I previously mentioned that it's at Kristel.Knits, but it is. That's where I am. And I haven't posted since the first day of school until yesterday. And then it was to show these. So actually the sock was not finished in that photo, but now it is. I've still got my stitch markers in. This is my husband's Christmas socks. Yes, I'm aware that it is almost the end of February. The good news is the second sock is almost finished, and he might have them by our anniversary in October, depending on how much knitting time I get between now and then. So these are just a vanilla sock, just some shorties. I didn't want to do a huge sleeve because I wanted to have them done by Christmas. I didn't want to have a really long sock. So for the crease, they've been folded up in a knitting bag for a while. These are a 72 stitch sock. I did a 20 round cuff. I did, I don't know, something like 7 rounds, and then I did this stripe of grey in there. And then I knit a tube. Then I knit the toe and picked up for the heel and knit that in. The yarns are, I have to remember this, Night Owl by Red and Ollie, and the green is Pea Pod, and it is a knit crate yarn. These are actually on my project page on Ravelry, Books, Hooks and Yarn, if you can use that platform, because I'm trying to keep up with writing all my projects down, and for my notes I only got my finished objects down, so they aren't helping me right now. But I know the colour is definitely called Pea Pod, because I mean, what else could it be called except for maybe pea soup? I'm not sure. The toe is from, it's my favourite toe ever. It is from favourite toe ever, but I can't think of what it's called. The toe itself doesn't have a name, but the knitter that introduced me to it is Mrs. P Creates. I love it when the brain just goes, ah, here is the information you requested. And it's just a beautiful toe that I did on one of her patterns. A sock pattern is a very nice, it's called the Hello Darling sock. It's a very nice sock pattern, and I really enjoyed it. And I use this toe on all of my socks now because it's the one that fits mine and my husband's feet the most, because we have weird toes. Not to say that it won't suit your feet if you don't have weird toes, but it just suits our toes better than like a wedge toe or anything like that. The heel is just the heel from Socks from a Tube by Danielle Lanoy. But it's just a simple pick up the stitches, knit a few rounds, do your decreases, which is your slip knit, and your knit 2 together on either side till you get it. I think that's probably, is that a wedge heel? I don't know what they're called. I've only been knitting for however long I've been knitting for, but yeah, that's the shape of it, and that suits our heels as well. So I'm hoping this fits in. I am so tucking those ends back in because I have not woven those in yet, because I finished this last night and then went off to Sydney this morning. So yeah, I have no idea if this fits in. I mean, I've got months before I have to find out, so it's all good. It would be nice to have them finished by his birthday, but I'm not putting pressure on myself. He'll get his hand knit socks when he gets his hand knit socks. Like, really, he shouldn't be complaining about how long it took, because I could just never knit him socks and then he'd have something to complain about. So that's one work in progress. That's one whip. The other one, I decided I would use the leftovers from this beanie to make a pair of DK Shorty socks. This is an actual free pattern on Ravelry. And I'll just pop it here who it's by, but these are also on my project page. They're called the February socks, maybe, because I was intending on doing the Year of Socks, the Mercery Year of Socks or something, I think it was called, and then January came and went and I had no socks at the end of it. These were going to be my January socks. I picked a DK pair of shorties because I figured they would be quick and easy and I'd get them done. That has not been the case, and that is fine. I'm literally doing a year of no pressure knitting, so that's the first sock, and I have started the next. I'm currently on the cuff, I think. I'm on the cuff. Like, I haven't even joined in the round yet. So yeah, I was knitting on them at my nephew's birthday lunch the other day, and someone's like, why would you knit socks? Isn't it just easier to buy them? Yes, it is easier to buy them, but then I wouldn't have the joy of knitting them. So this is one sock pattern that I do not cut my heel in. I actually knit this as a heel flap and gusset, probably because you literally finish the cuff and start that straight away, so it's just kind of a go, and I find it's easy to pick up my stitches with DK weight yarn. So I'm quite happy to do that instead of doing a tube and cutting it in. Gosh, I love this yarn. It's just so pretty. I can't wait to have these for winter. Let's face it, I won't even last till winter because my feet get freezing. I'm in slippers at the moment, and a beanie and a jumper. So yeah. All right, that's 2. So I'm currently working away on those socks. I didn't show you what I am so close to finishing the second sock. I literally have a few rounds of a toe left to do and a heel to cut in, and that's the second sock done. So it is a bit ridiculous how I'm saying you might get them on in October, but like I said, no pressure here. I decided I needed a quick people. People. I mean, there were people I have made, but they were people. Alright, I was saying that I decided I needed just a good old-fashioned garter stitch project. So I settled on the, I want to say it's called the Cozy Comfort Throw by Homespun House. Could be wrong, so I'll pop that here if I am. It is a very, very simple pattern. Super simple pattern. I'm enjoying it. You knit it with minis held double with, well, I'm holding it double with undyed yarn, like fingering weight yarn. So I have a cone of Nundawolla Mills machine washable 4-ply. There's not the sock yarn, it has no nylon in it. And I am using my Fortune Yarn Co. advent calendar from Christmas. It is a very, very simple pattern. Just be aware of that if you do decide to purchase it. Yeah, there's not a lot of detail. I think the most detail you'll get is when you get to the border, and it's an I-cord border. So just be aware of that. I mean, it is a garter stitch blanket, so you obviously wouldn't expect a lot of detail in the pattern, but just warning you to weigh that up if you decide. Well, not warning you, I'm just saying. Just think of that when Megan makes a, do not buy this pattern. No, that's not what I'm saying. Sounded very dark and dreary there, didn't it? I'm just saying, keep that in mind when you go to purchase the pattern, that don't have high expectations that it's going to be full of hidden detail. It's a garter stitch blanket pattern. So yeah, once you know how many stitches to cast on, that's basically it until you get to the border. So I am on my 4th colour. I think I'm halfway through my 4th colour. So I am really enjoying this. I might even sit and knit on it for a bit while I'm chatting to you. Excuse my dodgy cast on there. The amount of stitches was a lot of stitches to cast on. Yeah. Some of them ended up a bit skew-with, for lack of a better term. And it's whatevs, because it's going to have a border put onto it anyway. And it's a blanket. I mean, whatever. Deliciously squishy. I thought about sizing up needles because it is knit on 5 and I was going to try it on 6s. And then I realised that my big long cable doesn't fit my 6mm needles. Needle tips, sorry. Yeah. Sorry, interruptions galore today. They're not used to me podcasting. And their dad's not here to keep them entertained in a way. I probably should have done this yesterday, but while he was doing Lego and stuff with them. But I chose to sit and knit instead. Alright, so oh shoot. So I did a magic cake, I think it's called. I don't know. I wound up one mini. Then I split spliced the ends together for the next mini and kept going. So I made sure that day number 1 was on the outside. Then it went 2, 3, 4. There's number 4. Then there's number 5 in there, and that's number 6 in the middle. So I'm doing 6 at a time because it makes quite a sizable cake, because they are 20-gram minis, so it's 120 grams of yarn in a cake. So it makes a good size cake. I just love saying the word cake. Cake, cake, cake. I do have a couple of other projects sitting here, and I'm looking at them and going, oh, it was zipped up. Now I know what it is. And I have another one sitting here, my yarn bowl. This is my yarn bowl. More knitting, no quitting. I need to have this sitting on my desk at work. I decided my daughters loved the Changing Staircases shawl, and they asked me both to knit them one. And I started with my bears. And this is a Galaxy colorway, I think, by VK Yarns, sorry. Yes, it's called Galaxy. It is 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon. And there's effing green weight yarn, and there's a lot of pretty colours in it. Stunning wound up. Stunning knit up. Maybe a little bit too busy for the pattern, but at the same time, I mean, it's for a 7-year-old, so I don't think she's going to care if you can see the pattern clearly or not. She just likes the colours, so that's fine. I haven't been knitting on that for a long time, so I do actually need to look at the pattern and see what I'm up to on that, because I am trying to make my way through the various whips that I have sitting around the house and not start too much. I'm very good at starting things and not great at finishing them. And the other thing I have here is a sock tube that I have started knitting the cuff for. So this is from Madeline of Mad About You Studios. I sent her some Christmas yarn to get cranked into a tube because it was supposed to be my Christmas socks. But I ran out of time to get them done, so that's fine. It is a big long tube. It's basically a scarf, so I haven't done much on it because, well, my Christmas spirit up and went by the 28th. So I do have a tiny little start of a cuff there. I have measured out and marked where I'm going to be picking up stitches and cutting the tube, because the first pair is only a pair of shorties. I think they're all shorties actually. I decided I was going to do 2 pairs of Christmas shorties, then I think I had enough for my daughter to have a pair as well. So that's one sock, because I'll do the toes in a contrast colour. That's the second sock, so that's 1 pair. Third sock. Fourth sock. 1 sock for Bear. 2 socks for Bear. So yeah, they'll all be shorties. I could have made them much longer, and honestly, I might look at it and go, that's a lot of cuffs and heels and toes to cut in. Maybe I just do 1 big long pair for myself, like with a nice long leg, and then give my daughter the pair of shorties. We'll wait and see. I'll figure it out. But yes, that's a gorgeous tube that I need to keep going on. And I am using a dark green mini that I got from Rainbow and Sprinkles, one of their monthly self-striping sock yarn clubs that I got last year. And it's being held in a gorgeous little flamingo bag from Lovely Little Yarns AU. Lovely Yarns AU, sorry, not Lovely Little, Lovely Yarns AU. And the other one oh no, that's my DK socks. That's all my whips. Okay, good. So I don't even know if my brain is organized. My brain isn't anything at the moment. I don't even know if my brain is organized enough to be able to chat to you about stuff that's been happening in life lately. Let's see. We'll start with Christmas and New Year's. That was all lovely. As I think I already mentioned, it was nice and quiet until the day after, and then it's, you know, catching up with family and everything. That's when the crazy part is. We barely did anything for New Year's. We went to my best friend's. Weren't there for very long. Kids just weren't feeling it. It's all good. Ended up having a scotch or two. Sorry, I have fluff in my mouth. Got it. With my husband, and I think we played a game, I vaguely recall. I can't remember. Relaxed for a week. Started getting stuff ready for my daughter's birthday and school. Her birthday's on Australia Day, so we had a tiny little gathering here because I was a little bit worried about either of us getting COVID before returning to school, because I really didn't want to miss that first week with my students. I mean, in the long haul, probably wouldn't have mattered. I get the whole year with them, but I really wanted that first week. And we managed to get through. So far, none of us have gotten COVID. We've been very, very lucky. We are testing twice weekly. My 4-year-old has started to do that as well for her kinder. Oh, that's another reason it was so busy leading up to the start of school. My daughter's kinder got shut down twice, so a week during the holidays and the first week of school. Her kinder was shut down, so she was home with my husband, who thankfully can work from home during that first week of school, so I could still go to work. But that was fine. And starting my own classroom has been not a learning curve. My classroom management is pretty good, thankfully, to all that, well, not all the time, but to the time I've had as a CRT, that helped a lot. I do know the grade 2 curriculum, but I know the second half of the year, not the first half. I've never had to be part of that. What are we doing? How do we find out what they know so we can teach them phase? So that's a little bit chaotic, but I've started setting myself some boundaries for work. So apart from Mondays and Tuesdays when we have meetings, I leave by 4:30. Friday by 4 o'clock if I can manage it. because I could easily spend till 6:30 at night in the classroom every night just being super organized. And at the end of the day, it doesn't really change much if I'm super organized, because I walk in there every morning and still go, right, so what are we doing today? That doesn't feel like it's going to gel well for the class today, so let's change it. So what's the point of being super organized if it's going to change anyway? Sometimes my class is just so full on, not full on, but like I do have a few behaviors in my classroom, but they need the lesson changed. They need to have 10 minutes of meditation before they can even think about reading silently, or you know, it'd be the little things they need to have a lesson on. They've had 2 very interrupted school years, so prep and year 1 very interrupted. Simple things like knowing how to write on their lines in their books, or knowing how to set out a page, how to write the date in different formats, teaching them their last names and their birthdays. Not something I thought I would have to do as a grade 2 teacher, but turns out it is. And sometimes the lesson's going so well you decide to keep running with it until the kids run out of steam. I was doing a lesson on abacuses the other day, and it was just supposed to be a quick warm-up introduction thing, and then we're going to move on to another material. They were so into it. They've never used abacuses before. They had no idea what an abacus was, what it was used for. And the best part was I could tweak it a little bit for my extension students and keep them engaged and interested in challenging themselves. And I could also use it for really simple numbers for my ones that need a lot of help and scaffolding, so that they felt like they could do the work but it was still challenging them a little bit. And it was perfect for that middle group as well, that I could basically say, here is the tool, here are the instructions, and they went off and they were able to do it, and it was fantastic. So we just flowed with it, and it meant that my schedule is now a session behind because it's not what it was supposed to be doing. But when they're learning, they're learning. And I like the idea of a student-led classroom that, you know, as long as we're covering topics in the curriculum, that they are able to sometimes choose what it is that we're focusing on. I love that idea. I wish we'd had more of that at school, because there were so many things that I was so interested in and we just weren't allowed to run with it. We weren't allowed to keep learning about it. If it piqued our interest, we had to do whatever it was that was in, well, the textbook or whatever it was that we were being taught from. Anyway, that's work. I love it. Only thing I don't love is the yard duty. I have Thursday's second half of recess and lunch, and it's not as bad as Fridays. Fridays is revolting, but by Thursday they're all a bit gross. Their behaviour is not fantastic. They're all a bit tired. They make bad choices. This isn't just my kids. I'm talking about like the whole school. And yeah, and I have to supervise the sandpit, which you'd think would be like a problematic area. Sand in eyes, sand being thrown, fighting over toys and whatnot. The sandpit's fine. It's the oval that's connected to the sandpit that I take one look at and just want to go back to my classroom. I don't want to. I just want to knit. Which I don't do at work either. Last year, every lunchtime, I was knitting because I actually got to enjoy my lunch break last year. This year, it's sit down, shove food into my mouth, go to the toilet while you can. Sometimes you don't get a chance to, sometimes you forget. Go do whatever photocopying or printing or resource hunting that you need to do, and then get back. And that's assuming that you haven't had to spend time walking a student to go meet with a teacher, or walking a student up to the office because they're going home early, or dealing with whatever drama it is grade 2 girls have come up with. Oh my god. It's just, yeah. There's no knitting at work. And then I think to myself, I'll get home and I'll do some knitting. And I literally get home, do dinner. Brad and I alternate nights of putting the girls to bed or doing dishes and making the lunches. Whichever night it is that I'm doing whichever task, I get it done. I have a shower, I go to bed. So not a lot of knitting time at home either. But I'm going to start changing that this week. Given that I'm home by myself and I'm doing everything myself this week, I think I'm going to need at least 10 to 20 minutes of knitting time a night to just de-stress my brain. So yeah, Either that or I'm going to be sleeping with my laptop because I'll be working. But no laptops in bed. So yeah, Jazzy has not grown. She's fully grown now. She's not changing sizes. She is a very clever dog. Latest thing she's learned is we say, give me 10. And she puts her paws up. Gives you 10. I can also say, put your paws up, and she go like this. I'm trying to teach her to play dead when I shoot her. It's not working out so well, mostly because I think the sausage dog thing is to not just collapse backwards like I am worried she will hurt her back if she does that, so I'm not pushing that trick. If she wants to like collapse to the side very dramatically, I'd be all good for that. Like I mentioned before, I now have a 7-year-old. My bear turned 7 on the school holidays. She had an LOL party. And she's in grade 2 this year as well, so it's very cool that I can bounce ideas off of her. Like I get my students to wipe down their tables at the end of the day. We have plants in our classroom and I have a student has to water them at Mondays, Wednesdays and Fridays. It's just a spray bottle. It's not like pouring water, otherwise it'd be once a week. What else do I have? I basically whatever jobs I had, I ran past her first to make sure they would, like, I wouldn't be expecting too much. She's like, no, they're great ideas. That's awesome. Definitely do that. And we get home at the end of each day and we like compare notes. What did she learn and what did I teach and what did I learn? So yeah, it was really cool. And she is also part of that dramatic grade 2 girls group that I was talking about. I don't know what drama she does at school, but oh my gosh, the drama at home. Yeah, full on. My bunny is going to be 5 in July, so still ages to go, but she's so ready for school. If her birthday had been before April this year, she would already be in prep, I have to say, because she seems a bit bored at kinder, but that's okay. Not long to go now. She's got 8 months left of it. No, wow. I teach grade 2 for a reason. 10 months to go, because it is only February. She has been loving doing math at the moment. We've been talking about what comes before and what comes after numbers, and she's been loving doing that. The next thing I want to teach her is her friends of 10, because I know that doesn't get taught everywhere, and I find it helps with mental arithmetic. Like if I said to a student, what's 21 plus 9, I'd love for them to just go, oh, it's 30, because I know 9 and 1 are friends of 10 and 20 plus 10 is 30. That would be awesome. Sorry, too busy talking about teaching. If I had the time, I'd consider starting a teaching podcast, but at the same time, I do not have enough experience for that. This is my 4th year of teaching and I still feel like a newbie. I have almost finished a row. I'm going to take my kids shopping for my husband's birthday. His birthday's next Friday, so he comes home on the Friday and it's his birthday, so that'll be a lovely little thing for him. So we're going to go do that. Might do that now, actually. We'll grab some lunch while we're out and have a nice little afternoon of it. Thank you for listening to me waffle on for almost an hour. I thought this would be a super long episode because I was like, I haven't podcasted for 2 months. This will take forever. But by the time I edit all the interruptions out, I reckon we're going to be close to like 45 minutes, which is great. That's not too bad. It won't take me too long to upload to YouTube, hopefully. I had so much fun doing this. I am planning on hopefully monthly podcasts this year, depending on work. I would love to do fortnightly. Weekly I don't think is going to happen, but you never know what will happen. So I'm going to aim for fortnightly to monthly. Basically, whenever you see me on here just means I've got a snip at a time and I can chat about what I've been doing, or I might just be so excited to have finished something I actually have something to show you. So yeah, thank you so much for having this time with me, which I've already said, but you know, I'm out of practice with this, so excuse the second lot of thanks. I hope you managed to get some crafting done, or even popped me on in the background and did some cleaning or whatever it is you wanted to do with your Sunday. or whatever day it is you're watching this. I shouldn't just assume that you watch it the second it comes out, because I have had a lot of catching up to do with podcasts lately because I have not been doing that. I hope your week is wonderful, or your fortnight, or your month, whatever between now and when I next see you, and that your coffee or tea is always hot and your crafting brings you as much pleasure as you need. I'm really hoping that everyone has been looking after themselves physically, mentally, emotionally, socially, because all of that's important, and so are you. Bye.